in this area of the brain, sort of at the base of it, we have what's called the thalamus. And I apologize if you all can't read my writing, but that is the thalamus. I'm sure you recognize it from the wonderful job I've done. And what the thalamus does is it basically acts as a switchboard or a filter for information. Right now, this guy's got sensory input flooding into his brain from his eyes, his nose, his mouth, and all sorts of sensory organs down here. You got the ears, you got all of that feeding into the brain, right? This is what you all have going on right now as we're sitting in this room. I'll bet that most of you all are not aware of the shirt on your body, the shoes on your feet, each strand of hair on your head, or at least you weren't until I mentioned it just now. All of these things are feeding a signal into your brain, however they don't reach consciousness. In order to become conscious of something, it has to get to the cortex here, the outer layer. So the reason that your shirt and your shoes and every hair on your head don't make it to the cortex and you're not consciously aware of them is primarily because of the thalamus. This is an oversimplified explanation, but basically what's going on is you've got a molecule called serotonin that you've probably all heard of. It's abbreviated 5-HT for 5-hydroxytryptamine. And what it does is it binds to neurons in the thalamus and it shuts them down. It says, don't send that signal, the brain doesn't need to be bothered with that right now. We're just going to let these few bits of important stimuli through the cortex and leave everything else out. Which is fine. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. You run into problems when you start repressing things that you need to be aware of. That's when the serotonin system begins to malfunction.